Hello everyone, I'm the pro wrestling VTuber dedicated to love and justice, Kit Saberfang, and today I'll be rating the wrestlers that you've suggested to me on a tier list. But before we get to that, I wanted to give you all a few updates on what I've been up to. First off, the video you're about to watch was taken from a live stream I did about a week ago. I recently started streaming to both Twitch and YouTube as I realized that the videos I've been working on have been ballooning in size and are taking forever to get out. So instead of letting the channel go stagnant, I decided to hop into some streaming. Not only has it been a great way to keep in touch with everyone, but it's also really forced me to step up my VTuber game. Of course, streaming isn't the easiest thing and always introduces some new challenges, and something I've always kind of struggled with was audio, and I recently learned that I was actually being gaslit by my microphone. Long story short, if you also own an Elgato Wave 3, maybe think about going to their downloads page and get those beta drivers. Trust me, bro. It's been a lot of fun hanging out with everyone, watching wrestling together, and coming up with different ways to keep y'all on your toes. I've been streaming every Thursday for the past month, and after I get back from a trip in April, I'll be looking to expand that to at least twice per week. Keep an eye out on here and follow along over at Twitch to not miss out. I do my best to stream on both channels, but when it comes to watching wrestling matches, even freely available ones, it feels a bit safer to do that strictly on Twitch, you know? Speaking of April, WrestleMania is just around the corner, and just like last year, I'll be making the trip out myself. However, also like last year, I've got no plans to attend Mania itself and will instead be focusing on the GCW collective shows and anything else happening around the event. So far, I've got tickets to both Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling shows along with the Big Gay Brunch, and I'll probably add another show or two on top of that once I'm in town. And of course, I'll be filming as much as I can to share with y'all when I get back. Okay, that's about all I've got for now. Enjoy the video. Future streams will have much better audio quality, I assure you. And if you have a wrestler that you'd like to see get added to this list, drop their name below. I'm going to be periodically adding to this massive tier list, and I've already got a queue of new wrestlers to add, so help me add even more with a comment of your own. Okay, take it away, past me. Welcome to my tier list. So I felt that the best way to break this down, because you know, it's like we could have just done just rate your wrestler like 1 to 10. Now I think we do tier lists. I think this is more scientific. And so starting at the top, we got the goated tier. So this is going to be obviously for the all-time greats, the people whom I love, who I could absolutely not live without, and they just make wrestling a much better place. Okay, they do it for me. Below that, we have the A tier for you. If you've watched wrestling before with me in the Discord, then you've definitely heard me be like, "That's my ace." So these are definitely the people who I love very dearly. People who I think are just amazing in the ring, who I am seated every time that they are on my television. Below this here, we got boy status. So in our B tier, so boy status, you know, shout outs to OSW. Boy status is for the people who like, I really like these folks. Maybe like I'm not, you know, following them all the time, but when I see them on TV, I'm just like, that's my boy. Like whenever Commander, he's not on this list, but Commander would be on my B tier list because I'm not always being like, yo, do you see that latest Commander match? Oh, you gotta catch up on this. But when I see him, I'm just like, that's my boy. Like, let's go Commander. Anyways, shout out to Commander, he's dope. So that's my B tier. Below this, just cool. Just I have no strong feelings one way or another, and therefore like you're just cool. All right, moving on down here is our D tier for doesn't work for me, brother. Now we're getting into I don't hate you, and you know what, maybe someday you can work your way out of there. You can push your way on up. You can gorilla press your way out of D tier, but you're here now, and it's not a good place to be. So this is like, I don't hate you, but I don't really like you. I might change the channel, right? Like, we'll see. And finally, well, actually there is a secret tier, but we'll get to that. We'll cross the bridge when we get there. But our bottom tier here is for Boo Stinky, boo, get out of here. This is, shouts Discord for the Boo Stinky. This is when we see people that we don't like and we say they're stinky and I don't want to watch them. I think a great example, and I'm again to protect us all from spoilers, a person who is not on this list but would be in Boo Stinky is like QT Marshall, right? Like get out of here, man. Just get out. So these are the tiers we are dealing with. These are the wrestlers that we are rating. They are submitted by you all here. I hope that if you submitted a name, you're here. I almost feel like I'm doing palm readings for people's faves here, but these are just as, this is just going to be my thoughts, my opinions. I don't, it's so funny for someone who spends a lot of time on Cage Match. I don't leave reviews because I think reviewing human beings, it's weird, right? Like reviewing a wrestler, it's not like a movie, it's like they're evolving creators, right? They are artists. And one day you're a Boo Stinky, and the next day you can be at the top. Let's just have some fun with this, and we'll see where this goes. Let's start off here with someone who we know, a definite boy here for me. It's the Mad King. It's Eddie Kingston. And yeah, I think this is like this is an easy call for me. Eddie Kingston is going straight into goated tier. He's going straight into S tier. And I think it's so great that we start off with Eddie Kingston, because for me, Eddie very much feels like a modern day litmus test of, do you know Balor? Are you watching pro wrestling and is it getting through the frontal lobe? Are you processing this? And like, you either get it or you don't, Balor or you don't. And for me, Eddie Kingston is one of the absolute best pro wrestlers on the planet today, in the ring, on the mic, everything he does. There's so few people who embody the spirit of being a pro wrestler that just like comes so effortlessly to Eddie. And he's continuing to evolve and he's continuing to improve, and there's like so many layers to his character work and just like how he presents himself in the ring, and it's just so cool to see how he's appreciated now, right? Because he was so close to retiring when he was wrestling his first matches in AEW, and so to see him go from that to having entire arenas cheer his name, it's just, how could it be anything but goated? The next one is going to be Darby Allin, another AEW boy. And I think Darby Allin goes in my A tier. Darby is someone who I was actually introduced to through AEW. I believe it was like in that first month of AEW Dynamite shows where he had that match where at one point Darby gets handcuffed and he starts wrestling the rest of the match with his hands handcuffed behind his back and does not miss a beat. It was just one of the wildest things I had seen in wrestling in quite a while. And I also remember just being like, where's this dude been? Like, why haven't I seen this guy before? Because at the time, I don't think I was aware of Darby Allin at all. And for me, that's what like gets me excited about pro wrestling. It gets like under my skin when fans are faced with a new talent or someone they don't know, and they're just like who's this guy? Like, who, I've never seen this before. It's just like, no, not me. Like, I love seeing new faces. I love being surprised by new talent, and especially so when it's someone who not only presents themselves very, very uniquely, but also just has such a unique in-ring style. And again, one that continues to evolve. Oh boy, here we go. The GOAT, Chan Yoder. Oh yes. Okay, no. Chan Yoder does not go in my tier. However, she does go in my A tier. She definitely goes in my A tier. If you are not familiar with the GOAT, Chan Yotes. Oh, it's like S, super S, triple S. She is a relative rookie in the Joshi pro wrestling scene. She primarily wrestles for an indie PPP, and she makes appearances in Stardom. She's only been wrestling for about 2 years. Oh my God, but she's so cool. Has such an incredible presence. Has gotten really good in the past year at playing that Haas role, and just shows so much potential in what we've seen so far. And with the rocky landscape, the Joshi wrestling scene, or really just Japanese wrestling as a whole at the moment, I think Chan Yota is actually someone who I can see her benefiting from the need for talent, right? I think that the scene as a whole is in real need for draws. And let me tell you, brother, Chan Yoder's the one. So if you haven't checked out her stuff, please do. Just careful on that Google search there, buddy. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. Just be a little careful, be a little cautious. Use your best judgment. Coming up next is the technical wizard, Zack Sabre Jr. All right, here we go. Maybe this is where we start getting into some more of the controversial takes. I'm putting Zack in my C tier in cool, and this might feel low. Like, it might feel low. I like Zack Sabre Jr. Certainly not one of those things where it's like, oh, his style doesn't work for me or anything like that. I do like the technical style. You know what? I've thought about it, and I think based on his promos, although, because I was about to say, he goes hard on the promos, especially when it comes to, dissing the monarchy and hating on capitalism. So I think for that, I think we're gonna put him in the B tier, because it's not like I see him and I'm like, oh, like a Zack Sabre Jr. match. Like, no, like, I'm excited. So you know what? Yeah, we're gonna put him in the B tier. I think, yeah, now that I thought about it, at first blush, I put him in C, and I think it was mainly just because while he's had certainly some strong past couple of years, he was the New Japan TV champion, New Japan Cup winner. He's certainly been kept pretty strong in New Japan. I just think that outside of the recent Bryan Danielson matches, I've kind of struggled to kind of think of some of the better matches of his I've seen recently. But that maybe that's just more of a New Japan kind of issue, because it's been rough for a little while now. Here's one that was one submitted by Maddie, who is a fellow VTuber and also friend of the Discord. Caden Pierre, they are an indie wrestler, and I unfortunately here got to put them in the tier that you maybe didn't see here, which is the tier for unfamiliar with your game. This is for the people who they were submitted. I am aware of them, but I haven't seen enough of them to make any kind of judgment. And like, oh my gosh, like let me tell you, Caden's a hottie. I want to know more. I want to know more. They're also going in the mental note section for people I need to check out more. Pretty much everybody who falls in this tier is I'm gonna check them out at some point. Here we go. Yuki Arai, the genius girl from TJPW, the current PW Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling International Princess Champion. And Yuki Arai goes right up into the A tier, right there with Chan Yoder. That's a match I'd like to see at some point. If you want deeper thoughts on Yuki Arai, she is somebody who, we covered at great length in my tier list video that I did alongside Rel the Goddess. And she's awesome. She is so cool. She is a pop idol girl. She is a member of SKE 48. At Grand Princess I almost said next month. At Grand Princess this month on TJP, she'll be defending her title against Yuki Kamafuku, and there will be an SKE 48 mini concert. Those are always fun. She's another one of these relative rookies, right? She's only been wrestling for about 2 going on 3 years now. Shows so much potential, is already performing at a pretty high level, and just some of the best facials, some of the best like imperil babyface work like going on today. Love Yuki Arai. Absolutely love Yuki Arai. Here's an interesting one, and here's one where I'm not sure where I land, actually. It's MJF. Oh, let's think about this. I will say that the past year has been a roller coaster of emotions when it comes to MJF, because I was initially not super into the idea of him being champion so soon, right? Because I am one of those people who'd be like, MJF's not really like a match guy. He's not really a wrestling guy. So I was one of those people who he kind of went to go, prove us wrong, that like, oh, well, screw you, watch this. I'm going to go put on some crazy good matches. And absolutely did. Absolutely turned my opinion around when it comes to MJF as a main event performer. Absolutely. However, the utter nonsense that it all devolved into, all of the having to wait for injuries, all the belts that got entangled in it, all of the BS, a lot of the stuff that really exemplified where AEW went wrong last year. At some point, I just kind of soured on him. But I don't hate MJF. I think he's a great wrestler, but maybe WWE is a better fit for him, right? I'll stick him in my C tier. Get in there. Just fit your way in there. And it's so bonkers, right? Because one of my favorite matches of last year was his Iron Man match with Bryan Danielson. In my opinion, that's like the best Iron Man match ever, purely based on it being the only 60-minute Iron Man match where they wrestled for 60 minutes. Like, there's so little downtime in that match. It has less downtime than matches with even a quarter of its runtime. It's ridiculous. Konosuke Takeshita, the big dog. I gotta put Konosuke Takeshita in my S tier. This man's the GOAT. There's also a bit of bias with Takeshita in that, like, if you've ever wrestled in Deadlock Pro Wrestling, like, you get at least like one bump up, right? So my initial thought was like, maybe like Takeshita's an A tier, and then I remembered him versus Andrew Everett at Deadlock Pro, and I was like, nah, this man is the GOAT, because Takeshita is a man of the people, and he needs to go back to being a face. Oh my gosh, this drives me crazy. This drives me so crazy about Takeshita being a heel, because in Takeshita, AEW had one of the most seemingly rare things in pro wrestling, which is a pure babyface who gets over entirely by wrestling. His first month in AEW, I don't think he said any words on the mic, but by the end of that month, they just hit his theme and people start going mental, because they just know that, like, they're going to see an awesome match if it involves Takeshita. And also, he was coming in with that losing streak, so people wanted to, like, oh, is this gonna be the one where he finally gets the big win? And they made him a bad guy. Like, man, nobody wants to boo Konosuke Takeshita. Like, get out of here, man. And having been there for the 2 times where he got the shout, let's fucking go! Like, this man lives in my heart. Good cinnamon roll baby. He's a good lad. Good boy. Starlight Kid. Okay, yeah, it's getting crowded up here, y'all, because SLK has to go into the S tier. What can I say about Starlight Kid? She's the inspiration. She's an icon. She is also one of the main wrestlers that really got me back into Joshi wrestling. I would say it's SLK and it's Maki Ito. Those are the two in like pre-2020 where I was like, there's a lot of really awesome stuff happening in Joshi again, and I should be getting into this. And I was a big SLK fan even before she joined Oedo Tai, right? Like, I think she was in Stars, if I'm remembering correctly. I was into babyface Starlight Kid, and to see where she's come from then, not just as like a personality, but as a performer, to be so good so young and she's just like the total package. Like, there might be other girls in Stardom who may be younger than SLK, better technical wrestlers or high flyers or something like that. No one is the total package like Starlight Kid. Like, yeah, that's just That's just facts. Come on with it. All right. Jonathan Moxley. Jon Moxley goes my A tier. That's my ace. Even when he is not a champion, right? Even when he's not even in a top feud, like right now, Jon Moxley is still the ace of AEW, right? And he is as close to a Western promotion as I feel has had to someone like this in a very long time. I love seeing how he continues to evolve as a performer. I also just love that not only did he bet on himself, but he very much bets on his vision of pro wrestling. He gets so much flack for bleeding all the time and doing death matches and all that fun stuff. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because I think that all these different styles of wrestling kind of need their flag bearers, right? And I think Jon Moxley is certainly one of those for deathmatch wrestling, especially when it comes to more like mainstream portrayals of it. And yeah, he's just such a joy to watch. He's another one of those guys like an Eddie Kingston, where it's all about the little things. From the moment you see him to the moment he leaves the ring, it's all adding up, and he's such a complete wrestler. And I think Mox is going to be the next, like, Yuji Nagata or Minoru Suzuki, where he's going to be around for a really long time and he's going to be a threat the entire time. Hey, who's ready to get spicy? Because it's time for come on with it! Yeah! Modest to the top. Okay, can we just watch that really quick?
Tonight's main event will be a steel cage match.
Come on with it! Listen, I'm not gonna lie, Jeff Hardy is iconic. However, we've been talking a bit about recency bias, right? And I listen. I can say whatever I want to say about his in-ring work now, but I mean, look how much joy that one clip, that one moment from his TNA run gave us. I think for that, I'm gonna put him in cool tier. He's cool. I don't really want to see Jeff Hardy matches now. I'm not gonna take away all the old stuff. I'm not gonna take away, just everything else in the run. Can't fault him for getting that bag. Kevin Thorne, I mean, I'm sorry to this man. I gotta put you in, I'm unfamiliar with your game. Okay, I'll be real. My only exposure to Cowboy Bob Orton is probably him and Randy Orton feuding with The Undertaker. And I think that's also the tie. You know what? Hold on. Okay, you know what? I got a better place for him, because isn't this the guy who did the match with The Undertaker and was like, he bled everywhere and it was like, oh, by the way, brother, I got hepatitis. Isn't this the hepatitis man? Is this hepatitis? Okay, yeah, I'm not wrong about this. Okay, yeah, that's all right. You know what? We'll just, I don't really know much about you, dude, so I'm not gonna judge you. But that doesn't work for me, brother. I don't know, man. I'll just put you in D tier. I don't know anything else about you. I know you feuded with Undertaker, and then memory unlocked that you're a hepatitis boy. So sorry, you go in the D tier there. My bad, dude. All right. Next up, from New Japan Pro Wrestling, we have Great-O-Khan! And I have to just put him straight up in B tier, right up here with Zack Sabre Jr. Great-O-Khan, solid dude in the ring, very underrated. If I'm looking at who we got here, maybe the horniest on this list. This man might be the horniest person we're going to talk about today. I could be wrong. There could be hornier, but that'd be that's a short list there, It's Steve! I mean Sting! All right. Sting goes in S tier. Sting goes straight into S tier. And I think with Sting, there's no bad era of Sting. Like, like there's like with so many wrestlers, right? Even all the greats, you could look at certain periods of their career and be like, oh, this was actually a down period because like, oh, maybe they had this injury, or like, oh, maybe they just like they weren't motivated, or just something else was going on. I don't think you can say that about Sting. His TNA run, which at that time I think everyone was looking at it like, oh yeah, this is the farewell run. Like, this is Sting's farewell run. You know what? I actually just thought about the down period it was, and it was his short stint in WWE. That is actually the one bad Sting period where like you don't want to go back and watch any of those matches because he either like gets jabronied, loses at WrestleMania, or nearly gets paralyzed. Right? So like maybe don't watch any of that. But holy hell, what a career. And yeah, reverse Hogan is a great way to put it. Sting! Man, what's Tony Schiavone gonna do now? Anyways, Jericho, I'm not even gonna play around this. Jericho, welcome to Stinky Tier, dude. Get out of our company! I always wanted to yell that. Yeah, Jericho goes in the Stinky Tier. It's like, get out of here. Please leave. Get out. Stop. Please stop. Let me put it this way. We just talked about Sting, right? We just talked about Sting and what an incredible final run he did. He won every single match, and it felt like he put more people over than Chris Jericho has since he got here, and he wins like every feud. Someone's on the rise, and now he's like, I'm gonna try and just yoink that momentum from you. He's like, and we're gonna get to this other guy. He reminds me like how you always hear these headlines, like Matt Hardy be like, Matt Hardy thinks he should work with the world champion. It's like, oh wow, Matt Hardy wants a thing for Matt Hardy. That's incredible. He's like Matt Hardy with power. That's what he is. How would I rate his whole career? He's okay. He's all right. Here's what it really comes down to is I don't have nostalgia for this dude. It's certainly not an ageist thing either, because my two favorite wrestlers on the planet right now are Minoru Suzuki and Emi Sakura. So it's not that, but I'm tired of this dude. I'm tired of how all his gimmicks are just like, oh, like next week you won't just be fighting Chris Jericho, but you'll be fighting the Painmaker. And he just has a bat. That's all it is. Or like, oh, next week you won't just have a match with Chris Jericho, but you'll have a match with Lionheart, Chris Jericho. And it's just him, and like he wears a ponytail. Get out of here, dude. Be serious. Be serious with me. Now here's a Gaijin worth celebrating. Stan Hansen. Now this is let me tell you, they don't make them like this no more, brother. And I think Stan is going to go into I'm gonna put Stan in my B tier, in my boy status tier. When I'm looking up old matches, like I love seeing him. I'm not super familiar with his catalog, but I love the matches that I've seen with him with like Terry Funk. I love his 1v1 with Andre the Giant. It's like one of like the last great, like truly great Andre matches. And dude, Lester Lariat, like let's go. Like, it don't get better than that.
Longest to the top.
So sorry about that. Where was I? Oh yeah. Fuck Hulk Hogan. That's where I was. All right. Get your butt down to the F tier. Let me tell you something, brother. I got a new tier for you. You want me to send this dude to super hell? Maddie, you've got it. He's going straight to hell, brother. That's right. The secret tier, F minus. F minus, and that's where you go, Hogan. You go F minus. Get out. Don't come back. Boo, tomato, boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. Straight to the penis exploding machine. Do not want to see, hear from you ever again. Thanks for the memes. Thanks for the much love. HH, kiss, kiss. Do not need literally anything else. We're good. Thank you. You raised the murderer as well, so think about that. Oh, and you're a shithead racist, so that don't help. Anyways, now we're fired up. It don't get much better from here. Britt Baker, DMD. Yeah, that'll work for me, brother. I think like her character work is fun and all that. But just in the ring, just cannot keep up with most others on the roster. Yeah, big cool mom vibes for sure. And yeah, so she can stay out. She can remain a dentist. That's fine. She's probably a better dentist than that. Here's a good boy, Mao from DDT. That's a good egg. And I'm going to put Mao. Gotta move him over. I'm gonna put Mao in my B tier. Every time I see him, love everything I see. I'm always seeing him pop up, obviously in DDT shows, but also in like Baka Gaijin shows. Those are really fun. Very much embodies the chaotic spirit of DDT wrestling. Very much reminds me of like a young Kota Ibushi in that regard. So he's all good in my book. Kenta Kobashi. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Where can this man go other than in the S tier? Oh my gosh. I think Kobashi was actually my introduction to 90s All Japan wrestling, because I was really into early Ring of Honor. And when Kobashi came over for the Samoa Joe match, like seeing that was like my introduction to Kenta Kobashi. And so then it was like, oh my God, like I need to find out more about this. I need to like see more of this guy. And yeah, if it wasn't for Joe versus Kobashi, who knows when I would have, walked the King's Road. Hopefully there's also a lot of people out there who are having those types of experiences when, like Bryan Danielson is wrestling dudes from CMLL, or Jon Moxley is wrestling, Yuji Nagata, like those types of things. Like hopefully other people are having those types of experiences. Someone was just inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, or was nominated. Bull Nakano's S tier. Like, get out of here. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's one of the GOATs. As I said on Twitter earlier today, Bull Nakano was like my introduction. Like I'd seen women's wrestling before Bull Nakano, but she's certainly the one who like changed my perspective on it. So like growing up, I had access to just like a lot of like old DVDs, like old tapes. I have an extended family who was like really into wrestling and would just like record everything, or like just like rip everything. And so they'd always be showing me like, old WrestleManias and stuff like that. And I would see like Bull Nakano versus Alundra Blaze and just be like, why isn't women's wrestling like this anymore? Like, what happened here? Like, women's wrestling apparently kicked ass and then it just disappeared. And so Bull Nakano is definitely like, maybe not the first women's wrestler I ever saw, but certainly the one that made me like just like change positions on it and like change my perspective on this. All right, let's see who we got next. Whoa, man. Kazuchika Okada. I gotta put Okada. I think he's going in my S tier. Oh my God. How do you even top this man? Okada is like probably the wrestler. Him and Shinsuke Nakamura are certainly the two wrestlers that I think like really reignited my love of wrestling around 2013, 2014 kind of times. They were definitely the ones who got me interested in getting into Japanese wrestling, and especially New Japan Pro Wrestling. There is no better big match wrestler than Okada. Like his main events at the Dome against Tanahashi are like some of my absolute favorite matches of all time. And also Okada is involved in what is probably my favorite match of all time, which is Kazuchika Okada versus Katsuyori Shibata at Sakura Genesis. All right, well, I guess we got to get to this one. I put Undertaker on here because I felt like if I didn't put Undertaker in SLK, then the thumbnail is lying here. Certainly stinky. I mean, again, I do not have nostalgia for this era, so I don't know. This doesn't work on me. All I can know is what my eyes tell me. And yeah, he's a cop, he sucks,
And yeah, you know, okay, all right, you guys want me? Okay, yeah, he can go. Yeah. For wearing Blue Lives Matter stuff all the time, get the hell out of here. You suck, and your matches are boring. Oh, dead man. You rest in piss, bro. Anyways, let's talk about the GOAT. Let's talk about Riho. Let's go. Riho, GOAT. Oh my God. Get in there. Get in there, girl. Joshi Jesus. Riho is, oh my God. I have been watching so many Emi Sakura matches for the video I've been putting together for her. And Riho is so good at like every age. I have not seen a bad Riho match, and I'm watching matches where this girl is like 12. Okay? Can't tell me nothing about Riho. This is the GOAT. So now like Riho's back on US television. She's putting on banger matches, and like yet the stuff she's doing in Japan right now in TJPW, in Gato Move, is still on another level. There are multitudes within Riho. Exists multitudes. Okay, this is the GOAT. She's the S rank of the S rank. Jamie Hayter. Oh my God, Jamie, I miss you, girl. Get in that A tier. I love you. If y'all love her now, oh my God, I feel like she barely got to scratch the surface on her title run. Like, so incredibly talented, so good in the ring, and just has so much more to show people. So I'm hoping that she gets back in that ring. Next up is, oh my gosh, it's Misawa Mitsuharu Misawa. Oh my God, like there's no other place for him. Brother, get you and your belt up to the S tier. Jushin Thunder Liger. Oh my God, dude, my S tier is so full. Y'all named so many good wrestlers. Look at this. Liger, brah. Liger is wild because he probably could have just kept wrestling. You know, it's been a few years now since, I should have specifically requested bad wrestlers. That was my mistake. Just like he totally could have, just like he retired a few years ago, he totally could have kept going. Liger, one of those dudes where it's like, man, name a bad Liger match, you cannot do it. Like, yeah. So Liger's the GOAT. I want to watch the movie, like the movie about the character Liger. I always see clips from it, but like I gotta watch the whole thing at some point. Kenny, by God, Omega, Jesus, get in that S tier, brother. Oh my God. So Kenny, I've been a fan of Kenny Omega going back to his DDT days. It was definitely around that time that I was starting to get more into indie wrestling, and DDT was a large part of that. It was, you know, him, Ibushi, Jericho, like, you know, all the campground matches. Yeah, him fighting children. And it's so funny because it's, you know, he's on top now. Now everybody respects him as like one of the absolute, you know, greatest of all time. But man, it felt like he wasn't gonna, you know, we weren't gonna get to that point for a while. But once he really did the full-time shift from wrestling as a junior heavyweight to wrestling as a full heavyweight in New Japan, like then everything clicked. And hopefully he can just, you know, Kenny can get healthy and we can get some more matches out of these old bones, you know. Will Osprey, I'm getting no breaks, bruv. Hey. All right, so here's where I go with Osprey. And it's not bad. I put Osprey in my A tier, and I put him in my A tier because, like, I love Will Osprey. Please get in there. Like, I love Will Osprey. He's so good at what he does, but there's also a part of me that feels like, it's funny me saying this because he's like regularly getting like 7-star matches from Meltzer, so who am I to say this kind of stuff? But it does also kind of feel like he has other levels to get to. His in-ring work, his mechanics are just so crisp, so spot on. Just he's like, comparing his work now compared to even just a few years ago, it's really like night and day. Like he even just his mechanics have gotten even better, which is crazy because I've never seen a Will Osprey that is a bad wrestler, right? Like I don't know what rookie Osprey looks like because to me he's just like he's always been this good. I think for me it's what I think he still has room to improve as like a main event wrestler, if that makes sense. For example, and here's an example for you that's very, very fresh. The match the match last night with Kyle Fletcher. Phenomenal match that I also feel like should have maybe ended like 3 falls earlier, right? And it's a case of maybe being too giving with what his opponents get away with in the match, right? Because yeah, it's like, okay, like surviving a lot of things makes it, hey, oh Maddie, thank you, hey, surviving a lot of big moves, right? It makes the other opponent look really tough. But Kyle Fletcher kicked out of like the the hidden blade after a bunch of intense stuff, and that's one of those things where I'm like, you don't have to be that giving. And I think that's something that will come more in time. It comes, I think, with managing the drama more, right? Of like, not everything has to be. And I think now I'm actually getting to the core of how I'm feeling about Will Osprey is not every match has to be the 7-star everything all at once kind of match, right? And so I think maybe since I've been watching Osprey for so many years now, I feel like I am maybe a bit desensitized to full tilt Osprey. So having him in AEW, I think it's going to be really interesting because he's going to be having more televised matches regularly and against a wider array of opponents. So I think that once I can hopefully start seeing him do some matches that aren't that like everything all the time all at once kind of match, because yeah, like he's phenomenal, and I love the matches. The match last night with Fletcher was great. The match with Takeshita was like better than my expectations that were already very high, because that was the match I wanted to see on that card. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of time and a place for things, time and a place for doing these types of big style matches. And so I think it's just something that like hopefully Osprey has plenty of years in the tank, and so I think it's maybe something where I ease up on it a bit, right? But he's in my A tier. Look, he's up there with Chan Yoda, Finn Balor. It's Finn Balor. Ooh, haven't thought about this guy in a while. I'm just gonna go ahead and put Finn Balor in my in my B tier, just because. Who the fuck is this guy? Captain fucking New Japan. Love Finn Balor. Love Prince Devitt. Love this man. Love his abs. I just I love him. I mean, look at this. Like, don't you just want to don't you want to lick these abs? Just like, anyways. So yeah, and I think Relic just hit it on the head. Is that he's just kind of a jabroni now, and it's not his fault. It's not his fault at all. He is great in his role, right? Like he's playing his role to perfection. And I think Judgment Day is like a cool group. He's the Bushi of Judgment Day. Ouch, man. Next year you're gonna say he's the Yoshihashi of Judgment Day. But I get it. Yeah. It just sucks. It's like you want more for him, right? I mean, they made him world champion and then he got injured, and then he just they just had no interest in bringing him back to that level. I'm not like most girls. Listen, I was rooting for Nia Jax, okay? I thought she was cool in NXT, and then she got called up to main roster and just started knocking girls, going from door to door like the Grim Reaper. And yeah, so she sucks. She can go into F tier. Don't want to see her no more. Just, always concerning, honestly. Always concerning seeing her work your favorite. Not a fan. But like I said, I was rooting for her. Anyways, British strong style. Oh my God. Okay. So this is Butch. And that's Tyler Bate. I don't know this man. Who's this one? I don't know this guy. There's 3 of them. Is his name Kyle O'Reilly? No, he's not Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly's in AEW. Oh, that's Trent Seven. Oh, I know. That's funny. I know the name, but okay. And then Butch. He has another name. He has another one. What is this man's name? Oh, it's Pete Dunne. Yes, of course, Pete Dunne. Yes, I know Pete Dunne. Okay. All right. I know I like Pete Dunne. I like him. And I like Tyler Bate. I just wish he needs to stop doing that springboard, the return lariat. Yeah, it doesn't look good. It does not look good. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. They can chill there with Jeff Hardy. What, the lads? Who suggested TJP? Hold on. No, you can't. Who did this? Let me check my list. Oh, it was Bali Song. Bali Song suggested TJ Perkins. Brother. Listen. He doesn't care. He thinks the Earth's flat, so he probably thinks he's gonna fall off this sheet here. Just that don't work for me, brother. I'm sorry. There we go. Just like he's he's competent in the ring, but he also has no personality. And then like when you do find the personality he has, it's being an anti-vaxxer. So Adam Cole for me. I put him. He's in my C tier. He's cool. I don't got no issues with Adam Cole. Yeah. I just think he's neat. But there's definitely people who love this dude. There are definitely people who are like, this is the guy. This is the GOAT. This is my perfect wrestler. And I see it. I'm familiar with PWG Resetta era. I'm familiar. I think what keeps Adam Cole in my C tier is mainly that super solid wrestler, phenomenal wrestler. Can't take that away from him whatsoever. But I think where I kind of fall maybe a little tepid on him is just that I don't feel like he's really evolved much as a performer, right? I think his in-ring work is you could probably compare it to 10 years ago, it'd be pretty similar. He's a big character guy. He's always involved in a lot of these very personal and heated feuds, and they can feel kind of one note to me, right? I guess I never truly understand his motivation other than he's a dick, and maybe that's you don't really need more than that, but I don't know. I guess it's for me. It's again I guess he doesn't, for me personally, doesn't live up to the hype. Right, but he's not bad by any means. Good lord. And yes, everything I hear, he's the nicest man who's ever lived. So I can't hate him. Wow, Grimmer Cycler says he's been doing his NXT run for 9 years. That's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Let's do Great Sasuke, and then we'll head on down here. I'm putting Sasuke in my A tier. Oh man, Sasuke is such a trip. So I recently watched the documentary that was done on him a few years ago. You can find it on free from the producers on YouTube. Man, such a unique, weird, interesting dude. He's what I think we all wish Kota Ibushi would be. Right? Both are very galaxy brained, right? I feel like Sasuke maybe makes the best use of his unique brain patterns, we'll say. And so I think, and yeah, he's a great politician. I actually have nothing to base that statement off of. I have no idea what his political positions are, but that he ran for office and won as a mass wrestler, that's the ultimate work. We love it. And he's still wrestling. He was just at the Super J Cup. He wrestled Speedball Mike Bailey, and he looked pretty good. And it's crazy because I watched that documentary that was from a few years ago, and it was very much he's retiring. He's stopping very soon. He didn't. He's still going, and he still looks good. He's still jacked too. The big kaiju, Shogoat. Shoko Nakajima. Yeah, okay. I gotta put Shoko in my S tier. Oh my god. Shoko Nakajima is honestly so underrated. I think even among TJPW fans, I feel like Shoko is wildly underrated. So if you're unfamiliar, Shoko Nakajima from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, she is one of the smaller girls on the roster, but like punches so far above her weight and is just so incredibly crisp, so technical in the ring, and just one of the most like gifted performers in the ring. Just I love everything about her. Definitely one of those wrestlers who brings out the best of everyone she's in there with. And I love the team of her and Hyper Misao, where they just get to like have fun and have like get all their crazy thoughts out, right? Like they're awesome. And so yeah, put some respect on the Kaiju's name. All right, next up is an old WCW guy, Dean Malenko, the Iceman. The Iceman. I put Dean Malenko in my B tier. He can go in here. For me, Dean Malenko is this dude who, like, when you're watching the old WCW tapes, whenever this guy shows up, there's a serious ass kicking about to happen. It's like him versus Rey Mysterio, or like versus Psychosis. You see this short king walk in and you know you're in for some real graps. Okay, the next two, Maddie, I'm so sorry, but you gotta put me on to this stuff. Michael Oku, I have to for now put in my not familiar with your game tier, because the only thing I've seen of him is the Osprey match. And so I'm like, oh yeah, like this dude is sick. Like this dude is awesome. But like I literally only seen one match of his. So Noah Vale is someone who it's like I want to know more about Noah Vale. Every time I see them, I'm just like, who is this icon? But for now, they got to go down in the unfamiliar with your game, because I've only seen clips. I feel like I've only seen clips, and I like what I see. So I want to see more. Next up is Dive Bomb, Diego Hill. Okay, hey Diego, I know you're gonna see this because I feel like Maddie's gonna send this to you no matter what I say. So I'll just speak directly to you here. Hey, what's up, Diego? Big fan, actually. Hi, I'm doing a video where I am rating the wrestlers that people submit to me on a tier list, and I just want to let you know that I put you at B tier, which is really cool. Like I see you when I see you at like, you know, shows, I'm always like, that's my dude, that's my boy, like this guy's cool. But listen, we gotta talk about this. This doesn't look like you, okay? Like this isn't. Who is this? This isn't you, Diego. This is the best picture of you I could find, and it's your Twitter profile picture. You're a better looking dude than this, okay? So do me a favor, get the headshots. You know Tony D, right? Tony D is a good photographer. He'll hook you up. Tony D, okay, hi. All right, yeah, Tony D. Now I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you now. Tony D, can you take good photos of this man? Make this man look pretty. He's a good looking dude. And you're walking around with this downer of a Twitter profile pic? No, man. No. What are they putting on the cards? What are they putting on the cards? They gotta see this handsome boy, okay? We love you, Diego. All right. Come on, boy, kiss. Sorry, get me out of here. All right, next up, the young OG, Javon Evans. I think I know this guy. I think I've seen this. He looks familiar. I swear I've seen these abs before. These abs, they're speaking to me. The young OG, Jay Malachi, former DPW World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah, dude, I put this guy in my A tier. Oh my God. It's gonna be the thing that gets me watching NXT and all that again. As soon as I saw him in DPW, it's just like, he's so instantly charismatic. It's so obvious when you see him that's like, this kid has it. Like, just phenomenal in-ring work, just so much potential. He's just gonna be a big deal. in the next few years. Like if he stays healthy and if like WWE see what DPW fans see in him, he's going to be a very big deal. Everybody else on the roster better hope he doesn't like put on weight. This dude's coming for your spot. All right, don't sleep on him. Hey y'all, play Shaq Fu, the legend returns, and buy some car insurance and some Papa John's pizza. All right, so Shaq he's only had like one match, right? Who told me to push Shaq on here? I'm looking you up and then I'm banning you from the Discord. He had the one match in AEW. It was good. I was sports entertained. And so you go in the C tier with Adam Cole, baby. The Nightmare Blood Rotation returns. Adam would be the one, I think, grounding a lot of people. I think he'd be the rock for the group there. Here he is. Here's this piece of crap. Yeah, hey, child murderer, literally do not care about anything else you have done. You suck ass. Get the hell out there. Go to hell. Don't come at me with this again. I don't want to hear his name again. All right. Okay. These next ones we'll just blow through here because these are again tatter thuggish in the chat. Great Kojika. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm actually not familiar with your game. He looks like someone who should be giving quests in a slot car racing facility in a Yakuza game, if that makes sense. Oh crap, he's still wrestling? I mean, he's amazing. He rules. Please don't kick my ass. All right. The Great Kabuki. I've seen him before in like historical footage. All right. You got to go back. You got to go down here. However, there is a great here that I am aware of, and that's the Great Muda. And I got to put Muda up here, and we're running out of room. My S tier. Great Muda. I mean, he retired just this past year. Just one of the all-time best performers. Shining Wizard. One of the all-time best moves. Like, what an innovator. And also one of the few people to pull off the whole like dual gimmick thing really well. Like when he's the Great Muda, like Great Muda wrestles different than Muto. You know, it's like the goat. Go to goats. Next up, maybe Kali? Maybe Great Kali? Okay, so let's be real. Kali kind of sucks. But like, I'm putting him in C tier. I'm putting Great Kali in C tier because I think that when I look back, it's just like, I think of all the joy Great Kali brings us, right? Like, would we have the Punjabi prison match without this man? They're doing a Punjabi prison match at WrestleMania weekend this year at the Collective. Also, there's that one clip that people like to post of Kali in New Japan where he jumps over the ropes, and it's like, yo, this man had ups back then, and then it was like only like a few years before he was in WWE. It's like, what happened? What a Chad. Anyways, don't watch any of his matches though, unless it's the Punjabi prison match. Patrick, I'm gonna kill you. The Great Antonio. The only reason I feel like I even knew who this was to look this up was because I probably watched a video on famous shoot fights in pro wrestling. In 1970-something, Antonio Inoki battled the Great Antonio. Basically, he's mainly known for getting his ass beat by Antonio Inoki. Yeah, boo, stinky. I mean, you know, no offense, brother, but you look like you smell. All right, I'm going with Taka Michinoku. That's my boy. Taka Michinoku, that's a boy. Inventor of the Michinoku driver. I am mostly familiar with Taka for his time in Suzuki-gun, especially the time when they were like really running roughshod over New Japan. Taka Michinoku, he's a legend. He's dope. I should probably watch more of his matches, like from his prime. But he's one of those guys where it's like, oh, it's cool to see him kicking around. Kairi Sane. Where do we put Kairi? I put Kairi. That's my ace. I gotta put Kairi up there in my A tier. One of the best modern Joshi wrestlers there is. The elbow drop is a work of art. Truly one of the best like executions of a move. Like, talk about putting your stamp on a move. Like, stole that from Macho. I do wish she got to do more on her return to Japan, but knowing what we know now about what's happening at Stardom, yeah, it's not surprising. Yeah, just always love seeing Kairi. Hope she has more big matches in her future. And yeah, hopefully she gets utilized more. Next up, we have Sid Vicious. We got Sid Vicious here. I feel like I know more about Sid Vicious promos and moments than I do his actual matches. But like, man, let me tell you, they don't make dudes like this no more. Even with my limited Sid Vicious knowledge, they don't make guys like this no more. Did you say 22? Oh no! Goldberg! Why? Why me? Yeah, where do we put Sid? I put Sid in my B tier. That's my boy. He's pretty cool. I got half the brains. I mean, you got, if I've got you, I got brains. Yeah, this dude rules. Next up is Matthew Hardy. So I put his brother. Oh god, here we go. I gotta talk about the brother. Can't talk about one without the other. I put Jeff Hardy in my C tier and in my cool tier. Not a big fan of seeing Jeff Hardy in ring these days. Matt Hardy, I not only feel the same about, because he's like, oh man, Matt looks really rough in the ring, like just getting around. Like he uses the ropes as like a walker when he's going in his matches. It's wild. I'll stick him where I'm thinking about sticking him. Let's just stick this man. I'm just gonna put him in the D tier. You don't work for me, brother. Like, I'm sorry, man. I'm really tired of the news articles that are just like, Matt Hardy thinks that he should be champion. Like, yeah, dude, I bet he does. Matt thinks that he'd be a great first program for Will Osprey. Yeah, I bet he does. Matt Hardy wants things for Matt Hardy. It's not news. So that's where you are. You're there with TJ Perkins, okay? It's not a great place to be. This is the Nightmare Blunt rotation right here. Nightmare Blunt rotation. I put McFoley in my B tier. He's a boy. Again, it's like, it's one of these things where it's like, I don't have too much nostalgia for a lot of this stuff, but I've certainly seen my fair share of Mick Foley matches, and not just in WWE. Like, I've seen plenty of his Cactus Jack work, like in WCW. I've watched a lot of his old matches in like in FMW, like with Terry Funk. So it's like, I've seen my share of Mick Foley matches, and it's one of those things where it's kind of a bummer, right, that he's mainly known for Man Gets Thrown Off Cage, because he's had such a long and varied career. Our last one for tonight, oh my gosh, it's Melina. That's my Melina theme song. Melina rules. That's all I'm gonna say. And I also put Melina in my B tier. My memories of Melina, and I say memories of Melina because like, she's still wrestling. She is actually still going on the indies. She was very much like a standout in the women's division during her time, but it was like during that time where just like WWE was not giving the women any time, really not letting them perform to the best of their abilities. And so Melina was kind of, one of these girls who was stunted due to the system, and then at the same time, because of that system not really having like many peers, right, like many people who could really keep up with her if she wanted to go. And while Stone Cold did crap on it, I went back and I watched Melina versus Alicia Fox, and it's pretty good for the era. Like, it's actually really good. If that's the only women's wrestling that you had access to, like if you were someone who grew up during that time, and you were just in the women's wrestling and you only knew, yeah, here's my S tier here. Eddie Kingston was like the first person that got on here. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, these are good. These are all people I agree with. I mean, maybe make some room for Chan Yoda up in that S tier, but excuse me, Chan Yoda in the A tier, Mizunami, Hater, Sasuke. That's a good one. My B tier, like, yeah, this is This is good stuff. I don't think there's anything I want to switch around. I'm defending Great Khali in the C tier. I'm completely all right with that. And I'm actually, you know, I gotta say, I'm glad that I don't actually have that many people in my D and my F tiers that go to hell tier with history's greatest monsters. Yeah, here's my S tier here. Eddie Kingston was like the first person that got on here. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, these are good. These are all people I agree with. I mean, maybe make some room for Chan Yoda up in that S tier, but excuse me. Chan Yoda in the A tier, Mizunami, Hater, Sasuke. That's a good one. Like B tier, like yeah, this is good stuff. I don't think there's anything I want to switch around. I'm defending Great Khali in the C tier. I'm completely all right with that. And I'm actually, you know, I gotta say, I'm glad that I don't actually have that many people in my D and my F tiers. And remember, for those who are here, Cowboy Bob Orton is mainly here for the not informing others of hepatitis while bleeding on them. So I'm not really familiar with his work too much here. And then, of course, we